Bloons Tower Defense, or BTD, is a series that I have a lot of respect for, and a series that I have poured many hours into. From easy to chimps, I have done it all. But something I've always wondered is it possible to beat chimps mode in BTD6 with only tier 0 towers? The short answer is no. Long answer, on the other hand, yes, it's fully possible if you allow some things. But you're probably wondering what I mean, so allow me to explain. There is only one rule in this challenge: no upgrades allowed. None of my monkeys can be upgraded in any way to bring them up to tier 1. Anything above tier 0 is not allowed. But everything else that is possible within the realm of a chimps game is completely fair game. Including heroes. Heroes are the main reason a challenge such as this is possible, given they have a whole leveling system and they get more powerful over time, unlike my basic towers, which can't be upgraded, so they're never going to get any more powerful than they are at base. The reason a tier 0's challenge is impossible in the first place was solely because of round 59, which includes camo LEDs, which none of our tier 0 towers can pop, which is unfortunate. But the inclusion of heroes allows this level to be possible. But which heroes can help us? That's the question I seek to answer in this video. So, this is an only tier 0's challenge, but with one major asterisk: with the ability to use heroes. Before I dive into this challenge, I just want to ask if you guys could subscribe. We recently hit 300 subscribers, and if we keep up that momentum, it shouldn't take long before we hit the big 500. So, if you got this far, as if it was even that far in the video, then it would be much appreciated if you could hit those like and subscribe buttons. But viewing it in its full capacity is fine enough. I'm not going to force you to do anything. Also, there should be a card in the top right that points to my other challenge videos, which I do recommend watching if you guys are interested in any of my other content. Okay, enough yapping, let's just get into...
Are you kidding me? Nothing gets past my bow.
I feel like this chapter is important just to set some things up and bring some things down. First thing of importance that was not mentioned in the beginning, I am banning the use of Sauda, Geraldo, and Corvus. They all have proven that they are able to do a 1 TC without any issues, even if Corvus needs the starting cash from multiplayer. But I feel like it would just make the challenge too easy and I could just write it off as, oh yeah, I beat it with Geraldo. Shocker, he carried. Whoa. But also, another thing I will bring down is the heroes that just can't pop camo LEDs. Like Striker Jones, he can't pop camo. Pat also can't pop camo. Ojoro also can't pop camo. You get the gist. Some towers can get the full MIB out of it, but Gwen can only pop camo LEDs with her abilities, but will probably die to camo purples later on. The only towers I have that can pop camo bloons are Spike Factories and Ninjas, which I'm pretty confident in saying makes round 95 just impossible with that beginning purple rush, but yeah, I'm not doing that. Finally, just so this video isn't too long, I will just go over the heroes I was mainly interested in checking out, that I felt had the highest chance of successfully winning this challenge. Those heroes are Churchill, Ezili, and finally, Etienne. The reason I think Ezili is up to the task is because 1, Moab Hex is really good and can kill DDTs because she simply has to be at level 10 to use it on them. It's a simple matter of ability timing. Number 2, she has the innate ability to pop both camo and lead balloons with ease. And finally, the thing I was most fascinated in was her ability to de-camo balloons, which could find itself very useful given the circumstances of our main issue. I personally don't think she can beat chimps, but I think there is a slight chance that I can win with the strategies that I have in mind. But I just have a bad feeling about camo purples. But we shall see. So the idea is to start with whatever will benefit the strategy going forward. That being Super Monkeys, Alchemists, and Spike Factories, which will help one of our main 3 weaknesses. Heroes should come whenever I can purchase them, and the goal is to have them be at level 20 by the bad, because I don't think any of them will beat it on their own, even with like 20 supers. For the Ezili run, on round 17, is when I first lost. This was due to a problem that I think might come up if I don't get my act fully together. This is because regrow balloons are pretty hard to deal with, considering none of my towers are particularly good at dealing a lot of damage. So I could see a loss stemming from this. On round 21 is when I get my first super, and essentially it is a smooth sailing from there. Round 42 is a round that really scared me because the camos got further than I was hoping. So then I realized that I would need a lot of spike factories to handle the incoming camos on later rounds. Round 48 proved this because I would not have been able to survive the rush of camo regrow purples without the spike factory army that I built. Round 51 was the first major problem round, which required me to up the amount of spike factories way more to handle all the camos, and this was a very scary sign. At least in this instance, I only needed one more level to get Ezili's to camo. So that's when the biggest question came up. Allow myself to level Ezili, or buy more spike factories? My choice was the latter, which made it possible. Round 63 is usually a scary round, and I wasn't sure it was possible given my first 2 attempts at it, and the amount of cash I had. I tried adding 3 supers, didn't work. Then 5, also didn't work. So I just kind of said fuck it and spent all my money on supers to see if that would be able to work well. And it was just barely possible. I mean, you can look at how close they were, but I was able to beat round 63 and continue on. And if I'm being honest, from there it wasn't really too bad. Round 65, easy. What about 75? Also easy. And at this point, I was really thinking it was going to be an easy win. And by my wording, you can probably tell it wasn't for long. 78 is the round that did me in. This was all because of the camo ceramic group at the end, which I'm pretty sure is impossible to deal with because of the lack of camo detection. I mean, there were some attempts where I got really, really lucky, and it was extremely close. But I have a life, so I don't want to spend hours upon hours just testing the same thing over and over again, just going insane. So I'm going to have to throw in the towel here and call it a bust. But we aren't done with this video just yet. This hero is the hero that I believe has the highest likelihood of succession. He has high damage, the ability to pop camo LEDs, and DDTs, and the only downside is his cost, which isn't much of an issue when I can just set up an early decent defense and then build up into him. So here's the highlights of my best run with Churchill. First thing I do is pick Resort for its nice straightaways. These straightaways allow Churchill to expend all of his Pierce to the fullest extent. The early game is all about getting Churchill, and I just bought a bunch of cheap defense, and by round 18, I got him. And with this, I'm kind of just set for a while. The only thing I really have to bring up of interest was buying Super Monkeys, Spike Factories, Alchemists, with the occasional Ice. I didn't mention this, but Ice and Glue Monkeys are actually pretty good, so. While this plays, I want to talk about my only real worry about this run, and that is my major weakness to camo balloons. More specifically, DDTs. None of my towers can pop camo LEDs. Churchill shoots out explosives. DDTs are immune to explosives. Only Churchill's level 3 ability can pop them. I think you could see the issue I have here. And the only solutions to my camo problem are spike factories and ninjas. And for all intents and purposes, ninjas are just more expensive dart monkeys in this challenge. Churchill is going to be heavily carrying my defense because he can handle every single balloon type, which for this run is required. My main goal is to level up Churchill to level 20 by round 100, and if not earlier, because that extra everything might come in handy for rounds like 95 and 98. So the run continues without any issues really. Round 63 gave me a scare, but surprisingly the first wave was finished by 3 base spike factories. So that was straight fire. Straight epic, yo. Frickin' lit, yo. I'm hip. This got so easy, I just left it on for a bit and went to the bathroom. So my confidence was high in beating this, and I got my new high score after beating round 78, which Ezili was unable to beat from my testing. And from then, round 95 is just impossible. I'm gonna be honest, I just can't do it. I was losing my mind when I was going for that round 95 win. The most frustrating part is that I just kept getting closer and closer, but the ability micro was just so much for me to handle. I can't do micro. I'm not good at it. Even after like having so many hours on BTD6, I just can't micro for the life of me. So I just didn't bother trying to beat round 95. And apparently, after writing this part of the script and kind of like looking through Churchill stuff, a 1TC is possible with Churchill, so there was no point in doing this. It is possible though, I just don't have the skills nor practice to perform such a task. Now, let's go to my last and also personal favorite of the three. I'm gonna be honest, this is probably the most interesting of the three in my opinion, because of the amount of calculating I had to do before the run is kind of crazy. But I have the least to say about it, so let's just talk about what my plan was. The first thing I did was a bunch of alchemists and super monkey testing. This was to see if level 18 Etienne could help in beating round 95, which, no, he could not. My assumption was that a level 20 in tandem with all of my attacking towers would be able to, and I didn't bother testing that because I wanted to see it for myself. But prior to those tests, I did a lot to see if round 90 was possible with a level 17 Etienne, which is the calculated level he would be in logs. And no, he can't beat round 90, even with the alchemist. So I decided to open up a calculator to see what it would take to get Etienne to level 20. It takes around 78,000 to make the purchase by round 90, and you make around $131,000 in that time frame. So subtracting both led me to around $53,000 worth of leadway, which allows me to purchase around 19 to 20 super monkeys, while also being able to afford level 20 Etienne. So, with those calculation sets, it's time to see if I'm able to get to level 20 Etienne, and also beat round 95. In my personal opinion, I think if I can beat round 95, then I should be able to beat everything else. But as it stands, we will just have to see. I just hope my ability timing is on top. And as I said at the beginning of this chapter, I don't really have much to explain on the early part of this run. I certainly have talked enough, and it was fairly easy besides a few slip-ups, but let's get into the main course, the last few rounds. Round 90 was pretty simple, as was round 92 and 93. Round 94 proved to be a little bit of a struggle, but I was able to beat it after some time, but I mistimed my ability usage. And, okay, round 95 was certainly a round, is what I would say if I was actually good at the game. And yes, it was because my ability timing was off for my best run. I just knew it was over, and I just felt so defeated. So, what does that mean for this challenge? I am here to announce that no, it is not possible for me to beat BTD6 with only tier 0 towers, because I'm just bad. Yeah, I'm sorry, but I'm not gonna lie, I was just getting sick of this challenge by the end. It was really just me going insane, redoing the same round over and over and over again. So, if this is a lackluster end to the challenge, then I apologize. Could I have done better? Absolutely. There's a lot of room where I could have improved. Maybe better tower placements, or just better ability usage in general. And I recommend you take a stab at this challenge yourself just to see if you could even get further than me, which honestly is an accomplishment in itself, because I may say that I'm bad, but I'm not that bad. But now, with that out of the way, I am off from my long-ass break. Expect some more content in the coming weeks. I might have something a bit more unexpected lurking up the staircase. Anyways, my name's Carbon, and I am having nightmares of balloons. So, thanks for watching me suffer. I'm out.
Roll the windows up.
What was
Roll
that?
the windows up. Hurry.
What happened?
It's fucking Ethos Jerry.
Swing windows?
He's broke. He's homeless. He's gonna ask for money.
Oh.
Roll the window.